And we're back. Hopefully for good this time. My apologies, my internet just went down. So hopefully you get to see this second part. Yeah, today is the day for unfortunate events. So my internet just went down out of nowhere. Don't really know what happened, just went down and came up. So my apologies. Hopefully I detected it in time so I didn't speak in vain for a couple of minutes thinking I was talking with you guys. So again, my apologies, totally out of my control sometimes. Fortunately it was a quick event, so I was able to recover for the second part, this one. So yeah, apologies again for that. So I'm just updating the previous one to call it part 1 so we don't get mixed up. Alright, so again, apologies. Part 1 was going alright, aside from the hey, glad you're back, Mirsha. So like I was saying, part 1 was doing alright, but you know, stuff happens. Now I can't recover YouTube chat. Alright, I'm back in chat. So, I was talking about that other incident with a real-life plane that had the same issue as I did. We almost crashed here. My internet is pretty stable here where I live, but sometimes stuff happens. So this is the coast of Spain. We're approaching at Mach 2 or Mach 3 something, going awfully fast in 4 times acceleration. So I guess again we'll just skim through continental Portugal and then we'll go all the way to Madeira with Lisbon FIR. So we are already in Madrid FIR. We crossed while I was my internet was going down. That was a weird thing because both my weather system, Active Sky, and Beyond ATC need to be connected online to work. And Active Sky just cleared the weather, so I hope it returned. I mean, there's some wisps of clouds. It's probably realistic weather. Well, we didn't crash, thankfully, Marsha. What I was saying is that I mean, the computer could have, not the computer, but Flight Simulator, once it loses connection. I never had a crash, but I hear people talk about crashes when they lose internet connections for some reason. This situation kind of helped me. As you can see, I got a tailwind now. I got 26 knots, more or less. I got probably some 20 knots of tailwind. I mean, that's nice. Yeah, we can see here, so our true airspeed is 450 knots, but our ground speed is 471, so we got about 20 knots of tailwind. Not as impressive as going through 100 knots in the mid-Atlantic, but still good enough. Appreciate it. So again, we're flying the Fenix A321 CEO from Fenix Simulations. It's a very robust plane, very both the real plane and Fenix plane. So they're both very robust, very reliable. These clouds are looking bad. Look at that, full of pixels. These are volumetric generated clouds, so they're sometimes they look pretty, sometimes they look nasty. Hard to say. My settings are maxed out where they need to be. Oh, look at the wing flex. We have 4 times acceleration, so this is really exaggerated, but it looks cool. So this is Spain and probably crossing continental Portugal. I believe this is Rio Minho. So we'll cross northern area of Portugal, so slightly continental Portugal. Because remember, Madeira is still Portugal. It's just an island. So this is a very detailed plane. As you can see, you can even see the dirt marks on the wings from the hydraulic actuators. You can even see the pilots twitch a little bit. It's a very detailed aircraft. If you want to fly the A321 CEO, I got good news for you. I'm offering a giveaway for the A321 CEO from FS Labs. So in the description below, you can learn how to win it. It's fairly simple. You have to help me reach 100 subscriptions, so subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. Also help me by telling me why it should be you winning the FS Labs A321 CEO. The best answer upon reaching 100 subscribers will get a free A321 CEO from Flight Sim Labs. They kindly gave me a going through Lisbon Center now. They kindly offered me a key to offer you guys, so don't miss out. Don't miss this opportunity. It's not every day you get a chance to win a $75 or $77 airplane for free. You going away, Misha? It's alright. Thank you for coming. Have a good evening. Wait, is my sound on? Oh yes, it is on. For a moment there I thought I was muted all the time, for all this time. Oh, wave to the pilots. I thought you were saying goodbye. Yeah, the pilots did. Whoops, what happened here? My bad. Let's go. Alright, here we go. The pilots, they're sometimes they're not nice people. Sometimes they're very arrogant. I touched the throttle lever, that's why it went out of auto thrust. Never do that, boys. Never touch the thrust levers. They're supposed to be left alone. So let's wave to the pilots. You can almost see them. Let me turn on track IR again. I mean, there you can see the co-pilot and the pilot. You can barely see them. Just note that you can even see the filter deformation right there. It's really cool. This has a name I don't remember. You can even see the little cracks and damages to the nose. Nice, very nice. Just imagine the pilots are waving back. They're just bored with all the issues we keep having on this simulation. Let's accelerate back to 4 times. Here we go. We're gonna make a hard turn to our right and then make a left turn back in. Again, we're avoiding some really prominent military zones, no-fly zones. There they are. We're avoiding these no-fly zones because they go all the way up, this one at least, to flight level 500. So go figure. What are they doing in these zones? Mostly they're training F-16 fighter jets. Because in Montreal, which is somewhere over here, that's where they're based. So that's the flight training for them, as well as some weapon training probably. Let's go back to normal. As you can see, it has some trouble keeping the altitude at 4 times the speed. Well, we got a company message again, probably telling us there's no delay required, no ADC required, and no ADC required, so messages are cleared. So let's prep our destination. Let's go back to our flight plan. So Madeira should be runway 05. It usually is. There it is. Raccoon 1 Papa via Raccoon via Galpa probably, and runway 05. So let's prep that. Arrival. So we're going to go for RNAV 05. There it is. Let's just confirm this is the one because I don't want to mess up. So it's the RNAV Zulu. Yep, RNAV Zulu. It's the one we picked. No, we picked the Alpha. So let's go back. So RNAV Zulu, there it is. Via Pillin confirmed. And let's go through Raccoon 1 Papa. Bingo. Insert. And now let's go for the performance for the approach. So RNAV approaches are pretty cool, but they're also very demanding, and this is a very critical part when you insert the flight data, especially the weather. So nothing fails. It will be mostly an instrument approach, but it's a non-precision instrument approach. So again, winds are 340 at 7. So 340.7, and we got temperature 22. It's running cold in Madeira these days, and QNH is 1021. Now as for the data for our approach, let's go back to the charts. So our decision height is set to minimums, referred to minimums, so we are going through all this to MA520, where 552, sorry, so 552, where our decision height will be 354, because we are doing the RNP. Yeah. So it's going to be 1,500 meters clearance. Yeah, 354 decision height. Oh, it's the barometric. Okay, then, so it's 500. 500 baro. Let's do full flaps configuration for landing. Alright, we'll review that if need be. Still got some ways to go. Yeah. The incident with the XLR. Not entirely sure. What incident did you see, Mirsha? So We'll go back to time acceleration. What incident with the XLR? Did something happen? Crash? The XLR is a very recent plane, so... Oh! I didn't know that. Where was that? In Madeira? Totally not in the news today. I was in the news in the morning, but not in the afternoon. The XLR is a very recent variant of the A321. For example, TAP Portugal doesn't have any XLR. We only have the long-range A321s. So that airplane had an incident with the bird strike. That's a very rare plane, to be honest. Hey, Chris. Thanks for coming, Christopher. Nice to see you. How's everything? Yeah, I'm getting to Madeira really fast, so I'm more or less past halfway. So yeah, I'm way past halfway. So about 30 minutes and I'll be landing. So you're right on time. Thank you so much for your support. We had two hiccups today. First was one of the features for ground control wasn't working in the origin airport, and I had my internet being cut off halfway, so I just had to make part one and part two. So big turn coming up. Let's decelerate to make the turn, and then I'll turn it back on. So turbulence is off. There's no longer turbulence. So let's turn off the seatbelt for people to walk around the cabin. Well, let's turn off to normal. It definitely doesn't like to make hard turns in for time speed. So just to show you where we're at, it's in the right spot. So we're right here. Not very far now. We should have, see what I was saying, Mirsha? We should have gone probably through Madrid direct. It will be a much straighter flight. For some reason it sent me up here. It's probably because of the exit I was given from runway 27 left. Hello, Califed. Welcome. So not far now. Let's just wait for it to complete the turn, and then I'll turn on the 4 times speed. Whoa, real guzzler. We're about half fuel. Just above half fuel. So I'll take this opportunity once more to call your attention to your lower left side of the screen. We're giving away an FS Labs A321 CEO. So if you want this plane for free, completely free, just help me reach 100 subscribers and tell me in chat why it should be you taking this airplane. Well, not this airplane, the FS Labs A321 CEO. This is an A321, but from Fenix. This is a CEO, not an EO. All right, I think we're stable enough. Let's go back to 4 times speed. There we go. So let's zoom out in order to see the map there. Haha, Razid, I wish. No, this is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and I'm flying the Fenix A321 CEO. It sometimes it does look real. I mean, especially if you look from the outside, and if you look like in certain angles, it does look real. I mean, this is an impossible camera, of course. There's no way a camera could do this mid-flight, but it looks real enough, but not entirely real. But I'll take that as a compliment, Razid, because in some moments, especially during night flying, it does look realistic, even in the cockpit. We came a long way from early FSX. Ha! Gotcha, Razid. Good humor, as always, is always welcome. So once we get like 80 miles from top of descent, I'll decelerate back to normal for obvious reasons. In game, we've been flying for 2 hours, but we've been flying for less than an hour total, and not flying streaming because I had a long time on the ground because GSX wasn't working properly. What does work properly in my streams? MFS looks amazing, and MFS 2024 looks even better, but 2024 has a lot of bugs, so I'm sticking to 2020 for now. Not because I don't have a computer good enough for 2024, but because there are too many bugs in 2024 as of yet. They're working on them, and I'm pretty sure in due time we'll have a great simulator, and when that happens, I'll switch to 2024. But until then, 2020 just is enough, enough. It's a good simulator, very stable, and that's what it counts for flying in long routes. If you're flying low level with a small airplane, I guess 2024 is good enough. But if you want to make long range flights, I've done a couple that just didn't end because of the bugs. They had some issues, so I just decided not to carry on. Plus, I got a few planes that are not FS 2024 compatible, so I'll have to let go of them eventually. One of them is the fly-by-wire A380. It's not, as far as I know, it's not yet compatible with 2024. It could be, but I've not read anything about that just yet. So there's a little white arrow for our top of descent right there. So we're just waiting for us to reach about 80 miles. And then I'll switch off the time acceleration, call the passengers back to their seats. So if you just joined us. Yeah, the 777 was natively ported to FS 2024. I've not tried the A380. Last time I tried, it didn't work at all. It had major issues. You can port it, but I don't even think the installer would install it to 2024. If I remember correctly, I had to copy the files from one place to another, from 2020 to 2024. Nowadays, I honestly don't know, but I do remember they weren't very keen on porting it to 2024 due to all the bugs. Good news is we will soon have a payware A380. Anybuilds is building the A340-200 and the A380, so they do Califed? Well, I'll give it a go. If that's the case, then there's less one plane I will miss in 2024. It's good to know, really. I really root for the fly-by-wire guys because everything they do is free, you know. They're not being paid at all for what they do, so. Sorry, Califed, I really can't hope for anything good coming from Aerosoft these days after what they did with that previous A330 CEO they launched. It was really, really nasty. It was under construction for so long, and they launched it half done, really. It was really not good. So I don't have high hopes for the 330 Neo, to be honest. Yep, I agree with you. That plane is amazing. I agree, it should be payware. And they should be paid for what they do in order to work further, you know. Yep, Christopher, practice makes perfect, I suppose. If the more they do, the more they become good, I suppose. But Aerosoft, they have this long history of making good planes. I mean, I remember their CRJ was pretty good, and I don't recall the previous planes, but I think they worked on several good planes, not top notch, but good. The CRJ was really good. I remember it, and all of a sudden, the 330 went in production for so long. I think they were, I don't know, 6-7 years in production, and then when they launched the 330 was a mess. One of the worst planes, payware planes, they ever done. That anybody ever done. See the wind change? Now we had nose wind again. I didn't know that, Kelly. So they got financed to build that plane and they still messed up? That's even worse, I suppose. Because here you have Fenix. This is, I believe, a British company. If not British, part of the company is from Britain. Oh, what's going on with our cabin altitude? Stand by. Whew. You saw that. The cabin pressure was rising. All out of nowhere. I can only suppose it's from 4 times acceleration. It was really out of this world. It was climbing like crazy. Now it's back to normal. Yeah, that's it. They did a 330 for P3D, didn't they? I never flew that plane, but I heard good things about it. Yeah, but you know, it's like PMDG. They develop a core product. So the 737, 747, 777, the 777, they're all the same core. They developed those planes a long time ago. All they need to do is just update them to the, you know, the newer simulations. And some people don't agree with that business logic. I certainly wouldn't like to be buying different versions of the same plane over and over. I do have the 737 here. I would love to have the 777. I just can't afford every plane out there. Yeah, once you develop a good core, when you port it to the different simulators, you need to guarantee it's the same quality. Just like what Fenix did. They developed for MFS 2020 and they ported it to 2024 with the same standards. That's all you need to do. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, I suppose. Yeah, you know, 737, the plane itself is old. I mean, there's a lot of automations that have gone over the years. Even with the 737 MAX, the PMDG is building now. I think people are just tired because there have been so many 737s. I remember the Dream Fleet 737-400. It was one of the planes that I flew the most. And I flew almost all 737s from the classics to the NGs. And the NGs, of course, were done by PMDG. So I think people just got tired. And if you take a good look at modern planes like the 321 CEO from FS Labs, the Fenix A320 family, the Inibuilds 350, there are so many things, so many new stuff, new developments, innovations. The electronic flight bag. PMDG never did a good electronic flight bag. Theirs is meh. It's just, you know, checking a checklist. That's what they do. And then the visuals, it could be better. But in terms of reliability, I think PMDG is still up there. Their planes are very, very reliable. But, you know, I get tired pretty quick of older systems. The 777 is okay, but the 737 classics, they're just too outdated in terms of workflow. And I think this is where the Airbuses win, because, you know, aside from the fact that you have a table instead of a yoke, which is something that still bugs me to this day, it still is a pilot-friendly system. Yeah, I agree, Kelly. That's exactly it. They could have done things better, to be sure. They just went on a cruise speed. You know, they went in a cruise speed, and they are now a porting company. They port their simulations from flight simulator to flight simulator. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what people want. I certainly want more than that. I want stuff like this, that, you know, the little stuff like this amazing fly-by-wire aircraft, these amazing systems, this electronic flight bag, the various little kinks, you know, the little quirks, not kinks, quirks this plane has. I mean, that's the way to go. Now we have a nasty nose run again. Alright, let's below 80 miles, so let's turn on the seatbelt signs, let people know that we mean business now. And now for this turn, I'll switch off 4x speed to make the turn. And now we'll just wait for Beyond ATC to call us in. And give us runway 05 for the RNAV approach via pylon. That's what we want. I'll make a flight on the 737 soon, Cali. Probably out of Madeira. I'll make a flight out of Madeira in the 737. Or maybe the next one, because I wanted to fly the FS Labs again, the 321 Neo. So there's Madeira Island. We can already see it in the horizon. It's barely, you can barely see it because of the haze. But it's there, I can see it. So my procedure here now is I'll switch on radar ground terrain depiction on my co-pilot. I'll keep monitoring weather for now. And we are 40 miles in. We are expecting our clearance for descent any moment. We are 2 hours and 50 minutes in flight. This slight delay is due to the strong winds we catched in mid-flight. The 321, you mean the FS Labs? It's a good plane. No complaints on my side. Oh, don't ask me stuff like that, Callie. I used to be one of the main founders. There we go. Nice. 0 Papa. Sorry, 05 Raccoon 1 Papa. All right. Let's accept that.
Expect Raccoon 1 Papa, runway 05, Air Portugal 22 Foxtrot.
Alright, let's wait a little bit so we can reach our performance path. So you were asking me my longest flight ever. like I was saying, I was one of the early founders of Air Canada Virtual. So I was one of I'm Portuguese, so I have nothing to do with Canada. But I helped the guy back then, way back then, to build their very first website. I designed the website. It was really a simple thing. But because of flying for them, I was flying for them, and I had the 747 and the 757 from PSS. I flew long flights in VATSIM. I remember flying like 14 hours, stuff like that. So I probably made my longest flight ever was probably one of those 14 hours flight out of Toronto to, I don't know, Paris, or maybe farther than that. Yeah. And sometimes I would fly in the morning in and then fly in the morning out, in the afternoon out. So I would fly overnight. I remember I used to put the plane flying in cruise, go to sleep like 4 or 6 hours, and then come back in the morning before going to school just to land the plane. If I time it just right, I would manage to do it. So yeah, long time simmer. The performance, you mean the computer performance optimization or the airplane performance? Because if it's the airplane performance, let me tell you, those LEAP engines really are rockets. I love the climb on those planes. They're really fast on climbing. Unless you're talking about computer performance, I would understand. It's a little heavy. Oh, Singapore, New York. We're 20 miles in, let's call it in. Suppose we're gonna get a 5,000 feet clearance, let's see. Yep. Been doing this route for this approach for a long time now.
5,000 feet. Air Portugal 22 Foxtrot.
Sorry about that. Mouse slipped. 17 hours. Yeah, that's a very long time to be flying. And I won't try that in MFS 2024 for sure. And in 2020, I'm kind of scared to get a crash to desktop on the arrival, because this simulator is known for pulling that up. So even now I'm scared of arriving in Madeira after accelerating time for so long. I can't hide my frustration sometimes when things don't work out, but when crashes happen because of, long flights, it pulls me away from the sim. So let's make some math here. So we got 69.7 plus 5.8. So let's make a quick math. Yes, I'm bringing a calculator. I'm not a mathematician. 65.7 plus 5.8. Oops. 65.7 plus 5.8 equals 71.5. So that's our landing weight. Supply the METAR, and ooh, we're gonna land heavy. So let's hit medium auto brake, max reverse, flap full. We still got 1,500 meters of effective braking length or deceleration. Let's just refresh the METAR. Yeah, the winds are variable 4 on the tail. Well, It's variable. No big deal. Let's update the performance then. Oh, gusts 18, nice. Variable 4, gusts 18, so let's set it for 050 at 4. Let's hopefully not get a nasty surprise. 21 degrees, QNH is 1021, so we have updated the data. We will keep our barrel reference at 500 feet for the decision height. So the approach will be performed from the left side of the island, and then we're going to turn to the right on a very long turn for final. Mirsha, of course. It was my boy's dream. When I was very little, my father would take me to Lisbon Airport by the fence to watch the big birds taking off and landing. I saw the Concorde at least 3 times coming to Lisbon. And 2 times, not 3, 2 times at least coming to Lisbon. And I've seen a lot of airplanes coming and going. My father got a very old airband receiver. So I was a kid. I was about, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, something like that. And I was the only kid in the block that had that could listen to ATC frequencies. Yeah. But, you know, the dream of flying was still in me throughout my life, but unfortunately I could never afford the pilot's license. So I did manage to work closely with Aviation, working with flight simulators for training, for pilot training. I flew a lot in the cockpit with my friends, and I still have friends in TAP Portugal, but you know, now I'm a father and I had to put away my dreams. It is, Christopher. It is. Plane spotting. I love plane spotting, even the small planes. I don't mind watching a Cessna doing laps, you know, doing circuits. I don't mind that. Flying is flying. And whenever I was up there as a passenger or in the cockpit, I felt at home. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to fly. I wouldn't mind being a flight attendant if I could. I wouldn't mind being a mechanic if I could. But unfortunately, life has a good way to kick you in the rear ends and telling you that you just can't do it, period. But here I am flying Airbuses for a living. Haha, that'll be a good day. Need to hydrate. How about you, Mirsha? You ever wanted to be a real-life pilot? So we're coming into our performance managed descent. Sound of this plane is amazing. They did such a good job. Oh, we got a new subscriber. And welcome, Gigliotis. Thank you for subscribing. You're one of the 100 that could be lucky enough to win the FS Labs A321 NEO. I got one just for you guys. All you need to do is help me reach 100 subscribers and come here on the chat telling me why it should be you winning it, and I'll gladly give it away for the best answer. Arnav Zulu, thank you ATC via the pilot transition. Nice.
H1021 expect
That's what I wanted to hear.
with the pilot transition. Air Portugal 22
So this is Port Saint. For some reason it's white. I hope that's not a glitch. Why is it white? What's going on there? Doesn't look good, does it? I've never seen it like that. Why is it white? It's like snowing in Port Saint. Hello Gigliotis, thank you for the subscription. What about you, Califed? Have you ever wanted to be a pilot yourself? Oh, late passion. Yeah, Mirsha. Yeah, I guess a lot of people don't. I mean, there are some people there. I've known a couple, man and woman couple, that she was afraid to fly, but he loved aviation. Then one day, she went on a flight with her husband, and he was very savvy with the aviation world. Of course, if you're passionate about something, you know a lot of details, and he helped her not only conquer the fear of flight, but she became a pilot. Go figure. She was afraid to fly, he was the enthusiast. Now she's a pilot and he's working in something else. How about that? How amazing is that? So it's never too late, I suppose, but it is a very expensive career, to be honest. So this is us approaching Madeira Island. That's the big island over there. This is Port Saint. For some reason today, Port Saint looks like a snow playground or something. Yeah, Christopher. Fear of flying is mostly ignorance, in a good way. I'm not saying people that are afraid to fly are ignorant, but they do, if once they understand how everything works and how everything is redundant, it helps. Doesn't solve the issue on its own, but it does help. I mean, look at this. For every single system, you have multiple redundancies. For example, I got green, blue, and yellow hydraulic system. If one of these failed, any of the other ones can replace the one failing. Of course, there are some systems that are dependent on each hydraulic system. I won't go into those details right now. But you know, there's so many redundancies, so many safeties. I mean, we run checklists. We go by the book. We don't make up stuff. It's like when you're driving a car, you sometimes you have a route to follow. You sometimes I'll just go this way because I know an alternative way. There's no such thing in aviation. You always follow the exact route you are given, and there's no way to you know, mess up if you go by the book. The only times pilots mess up is when they go beyond their limitations. They start making stuff up. And look at that, Port Saint really looks bad. Something wrong with this texture. Not Madeira though. Oh, it's drawing. Look at that. It's drawing as we grow closer. But this is the first time I've seen this. I've never seen this happening. It's not yellow. It's not white. It's yellow. It's looked like desert texture. But it is drawing now. We were time accelerating for quite some time, so it probably didn't load correctly. Hopefully Madeira is okay. I bet if I reload the textures, it will be fine. Because it is streaming textures online, so it probably didn't stream correctly because I had the internet going down a moment ago. So there's Madeira airport somewhere over there. So let's zoom in. So Madeira airport is somewhere over here. What we'll do is we'll cross this line here, turn around and land. So it's better to watch than to describe it because it doesn't sound good. So let's see what's going on there. So these islands are being drawn green, but this huge Port Sant island is just yellow. I hope I get textures at Madeira itself. The airport is drawn correctly though. It's just the ground textures that look bad. Look at that. Port Sant really doesn't look like that. See, it's slowly drawing. It doesn't look good. I mean, Port Sant is not as green as Madeira, but still. I wonder if I can just set things up a little bit. So, terrain, level of detail. Everything looks okay. So let's just go back. Yeah, everything looks fine. Not sure why it's loaded like that. Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? Looks like FSX. Now this is just, you know, I had an internet breakdown a moment ago, so it probably didn't load the textures correctly. I'm just concerned with Madeira itself, because if I don't get the proper mesh, at least the mesh, I'm not worried about textures, but the mesh should be alright. Must be alright. So this is Port Sant Airport. That's the military apron there, where the helicopter for Portuguese Air Force often flies out of. So yeah, let's hope that Madeira itself looks okay. As for the approach, everything looks fine and dandy. Just waiting for the clearance for the pilot transition. In 15 nautical miles, we should get a clearance before that. We're fine in the managed descent. We're right on the performance green ball. Turning on and off Bing maps. Oh, you mean the what's it called? The where is that? What if I move this slider ever so slightly? Will it reload? Oh, there I go again. Touch the throttle on data. Let's see. Data. It's off. Let me turn it on then. Oh, maybe that's the problem. Since the internet went down, it turned off photogrammetry. Now I need to load in the textures. Let's see. Ooh, that's a big jump. Madeira looks better now. Let's see Port Sant. There it is. That's the problem. That was the problem. Photogrammetry was turned off. Phew, now I see Madeira correctly now. That's better. Thanks for the tip, Kelly. I didn't remember the photogrammetry and the Bing map stuff. Since my internet went down, it probably just turned off all online data. So I see that Fenix A321 at least is still struggling to keep up with the managed speed on descent. Pretty sure the real life plane has a much better performance. No, really appreciate it, Kelly. You see, this is the interaction I'm missing most of the time. Alright, we got clear for pilot.
Descend to 3,000 feet. QN H1021.
Passing 10,000 feet, landing lights on.
Air Portugal 22 Foxtrot, cleared direct pilling, cross pilling at or above 3,000 feet, cleared RNAV Zulu runway 05.
Copy, clear for the RNAV Zulu.
Cross pylon at or above 3,000 feet. Cleared RNAV Zulu runway 05.
So let's give it a little push with some speed brakes because it's struggling to keep up with the performance ball. Let's turn on our constraints here. So this is the time on the airplane when your ears pop up because of the pressurization, depressurization. All right, speed brakes in. So there's Madeira Airport right in front of us, but we're not going to land on this runway. We're going to make a left-hand turn, then a very long right-hand turn for the final approach. So let's start our turn in a moment. Let's carry on descending to 1,000 feet. Actually, it's less than that, but we'll be on manual by then. So we got a constraint of 2,000 feet, and then we'll have a speed reduction of 195 knots. There's a runway right there, you can barely see it. Kelly, they launched an update recently, and I can show you it can really understand you now. I can easily interact with it. You just need to speak clearly, and if English is your native language, you'll have no problem. It isn't mine, and I manage. So again, we need to be above 2,000 feet. We're still descending. There's the runway. So altitude going in for 1021. Yeah, I know altitude. I know, altitude disagree. Alright. This is the point when either I nail it or I'll mess everything up, so bear with me. Approach checklist. Barrel reference set and cross check. Seat belts are on, minimum as required 500 feet. Auto brake set to medium as fragged, as briefed. Engine flight mode, we'll set it as normal. There's no rain. Alright, here we go. Here comes the vertical deviation. We're already at lateral deviation. We'll let the plane fly up until my decision altitude, and then I'll take over. Cabin's ready.
secure for landing.
Thank you. Nice voice, by the way. So here, we can reset it. Thank you. Back to monitoring VHF. So our vertical deviation is way off, taking over.
Air Portugal 22 Foxtrot. Contact Madeira Tower 124.66.
Over to Tower 124.66. Air Portugal 22 Foxtrot. Have a good day.
Alright, speed brakes out. Let's
Madeira
turn
Tower,
everything
Air
on.
Portugal 22 Foxtrot. RN80 Zulu runway 05.
Air Portugal 22 Foxtrot. Madeira Tower. Wind variable.
Speed
Runway
check, flaps
05,
1.
Cleared to land.
Little low.
Runway 05, cleared to land.
Gear
Air
down.
Portugal 22 Foxtrot.
Let's go down a little bit.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Copy. There's a rapid pulse. Let me turn on track IR real quick. Bear with me. Here we go. There's a runway. Speed check flaps 2. Let's go down a little bit. We're a bit too high. Speed check flaps 3. Oh, wind shear. You see that? Alright, come on. Come on. Come on. It's one of those. It's one of those, guys.
Think rate.
Continue. Bit too fast. I think we can recover it.
All aircraft be advised information golf now current. QNH 1021.
Yeah, speed brake disagree. Oh, long landing.
Air Portugal 22 Foxtrot. Exit next available taxiway.
Need to go all the way.
Exit next available taxiway. Air Portugal 22 Foxtrot.
No, it was a bit too fast, and I performed a long landing. I'm just that perfectionist. I know when I could have done better. Let's clean the aircraft. So I had a speed brake disagree because I had it on auto speed brake, and I deployed it because I panicked a little bit. So that's the reason why. It was becoming a long landing, so I decided, now let's put everything out. I was too high when the aircraft was on the approach with the RNAV. For some reason, it missed the vertical navigation completely. So when I took over, I didn't completely mess it, but I could have decelerated a little earlier if I'd known that it was going to hand me over the plane so high. So that's why I had a don't sink. It's not German for don't think. It's really don't sink the airplane. So I have to take off checklist, weather system prediction, and weather radar off. After landing checklist complete. So it's just a long parking. I could have turned here, but I felt more comfortable going all the way down. Gigliotti, this is an extra you can download on Beyond ATC website. You can also download the traffic map, which I don't use it. Thanks, Califed. I try. Let's start our APU flaps open. So let's see if the GSX handover now works, because according to Beyond ATC, the GSX option will now allow me to just taxi in and GSX will just hand over to, Beyond ATC will hand over the taxi gate to GSX. Let's see if that works. So if all goes right, all I need to do is request taxi to the assigned gate. That's all there is. All right, flaps are up. And speed brakes retracted, so let's turn off our landing lights. This one to taxi, runway turn off. Let's leave it on for now. Okay, so APU is available. We don't need single engine taxi.
Air Portugal 22 Foxtrot. Request taxi to company gate.
Air Portugal 22 Foxtrot, ramp Alpha 11 taxi via Bravo, Alpha.
Ramp Alpha 11 via Bravo. Alpha, Air Portugal 22 Foxtrot.
So, do we have GSX handed over? Let's confirm. Nope. So that's not really working that well. But we can easily do that here. So this is 13. This is 12. And that's 11. Right between this Air Portugal and that EasyJet. Do we have enough clearance? I don't think we do. Oh, let's trust the system, right? It's when we don't trust the system that we get issues. Let's see if today I can perform a nice parking. Come on, move those little arms of yours. Here we go. To the left. Yeah, to the right. Slow it down. Slow down. Slow down and fly like an eagle. Come on. There we go. Parking brake set. We got our APU bleed. Engine shut down. Oh, look at that. My rudder was offset. Yeah, engine's cut off. D-board. You parked a bit askew. Alright. Sorry about that. See if Menzi is still on strike. GPU connected. CPU bleed off.
The boarding requested.
Well, GSX seems to be working now. Let's see if it continues to work. Parking checklist. Parking brake set. Engines are both off. Wing lights are off and fuel pumps coming off. See, the same issue that we had on departure. So there's something fishy. The cargo doors are open. See if they are. All right, now it's working. Wasn't working in Paris. Yeah, that was 3 hours and 25 minutes. 3 hours and 25 minutes of a flight. We of course accelerated time. Hello Yusuf, welcome. Welcome to the channel.
Passengers bus is coming.
Yeah, I just finished the flight, but you can watch the replay if you want. Just rewind if you wish. All right, guys, thank you for coming to Madeira with me today. This was a very pleasant flight. To be honest, it could have been a lot better, as always. Let's check our wheel temperatures. Oh, pretty normal, pretty okay. So no need for wheel fans, brake fans. So thank you all for coming. Thank you for your support. Appreciate your company and your chat. Thank you for your visit. We have another subscriber here. Let's see who it is.
Passengers deboarding starting.
So Albi, thank you for joining. Thank you for subscribing. So I have to thank personally Mirsha Mahai, Christopher Kurtz, Califed, and now more lately into the chat, Gigliotti and Yusuf. Thank you both, as well as anybody subscribing. So remember, all I need to do is reach 100 subs. Of course, I would very much appreciate if you could like and subscribe. So like I was saying, if I reach 100 subs, and there goes the passengers, always cool to see. If I reach 100 subs and you guys come here to the chat and tell me why exactly it should be you to win, I have an FS Labs A321 CEO to offer you guys. So kind license, kindly given by FS Labs themselves. And yes, it's Beyond ATC toolbar, Gigliotti. That's exactly it. Oh, really? The Ryanair handling company themselves? That's too bad. Well, Ryanair is a big company, right? If they handling strikes, there will be issues. So this is Aeroporto of Funchal, Madeira. This is called Aeroporto Cristiano Ronaldo. For some reason, we gave the name of a sports player, whatever. Yeah, it's Azul. Ryanair Azul, I think, or Azul Ryanair, Azul Handling, something like that. Yes. Yeah, thank you all for coming. I hope you enjoyed flying it as much as I do. This is my passion. I'm not a real-life pilot. I try to do things just like a simmer would do. Sometimes I get things wrong. Sometimes I get things right. The thing is, for every wrongdoing, you end up learning something. So this is what I do. I make mistakes and I correct them. But of course, when GSX doesn't work, or when you have an internet connection failure, there's nothing you can really do about it. But anyway, remember, I have an FS Labs A321 CEO to offer you. Lower left corner, you can see the calling, and in this video description, you can learn more about it. Sorry for having to split the video in two. The flight was split in two, but we got here 3 hours and so of flight, abbreviated by time acceleration, of course. But here we are in Madeira, beautiful Madeira. By the way, if you're looking for a beautiful vacation destination, look at all these airlines that fly here. Norwegian, Ryanair, EasyJet, TUI, Wizz Air, Discover, TAP Portugal. There's no excuse not to come here. It's really beautiful. So we'll see you next time. Thank you all for coming. This is MFS 2020. But as you can see, it looks really good. I'll get to 2024 eventually, one day, if things work out. If they correct most of the stuff they need to correct. But so far, I enjoyed flying in 2020. It's really good. It's really stable, so I'm still here. So guys, again, thank you for coming. See you next time. Bye.
I love to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high. Climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be.
Passengers, the boarding started.
I'll